Hello everyone, I'm Spectre18 and we are back here for another episode of New Waylie. Starting off where we left off in the previous video, which was the first day of my stream launch. I did it for a whole weekend, so this is part 2, which was my Sunday. Now I decided to start with the bottom of the second vehicle elevator because, as you saw at the very beginning there is no base, or more specifically, it's open on the bottom, like a hollow tube. So I decided to add this. I think it's called Fog Bay. It's meant to be some sort of power generator, as a procedural object to sink it in there and make it the base of the vehicle elevator. However, that covers up some of the tunnel, so I had to adjust the elevation of the road here to make that work. In fact, I think we can also see that the very top of the tunnel is also covered up because of the vehicle elevator. I think we get to that later. I'm not sure if I realized it at this point or chose to leave it as just like a roof edge, ceiling edge kind of thing. Now we go back to the other elevator because I hadn't done the exit. Now I know there are a bunch of random rocks in here, but I had just pushed them aside because they're rocks that I hope to reuse. Honestly, I don't even know if these are available as props, like if you search them through Find It. So just to be safe, I kept them on the map, and I'll just move them into place later. Here I had a little issue though, where the tunnel piece worked, but the road was exposed. But it turns out all I had to do was lower the elevation, and that fixed it just fine. But then of course I had to smooth this out because I lowered that other part. So there's really wasn't much to do here. So what comes next? Oh, there was that. Yeah, that's what it was. Kind of smoothing out the terrain there. Now I had these clipped areas, and I was considering whether or not I should cover them up now. As you see, I kind of changed my mind on the middle one, because I realized as I was thinking about all the entrances and exits to the vehicle elevator that I hadn't actually changed the bridge or the top parts of these roads. That road that we were just looking at right now, for example, definitely had to be a two-way, and that wasn't done yet. Now I'm back to this area, considering, actually not considering, I decided to work on this side of the elevator first. I kind of had this idea of a sort of, I don't really know what to call it, because obviously I don't know what it is. I'm just kind of improvising some sort of futuristic machinery or something, an area of maintenance, access, I don't really know. Could be some sort of power meter or monitoring or transfer station. But especially since, as we saw earlier, this is in shadow, which I disabled so I could work on this easily. I probably want something kind of lined up, something kind of lighted up, and that looks kind of cool. Now I really want to comment on this little jiggle you're seeing me do here. That'll be the last of it. But procedural objects, you can move nodes by using the arrow keys, or Alt plus the arrow keys, or Alt Shift plus the arrow keys. Actually, you can also do it with Shift arrow keys. But I realized that the Alt and Alt Shift don't seem to be, how should I say, the Alt Shift doesn't seem to be an even subdivision of the Alt arrow key. So whenever you have things that don't line up perfectly, what you do is that you go past where you want with Alt, and then you hit Alt Shift to bring it back in. More likely than not, of course, it's still not going to be lined up. But then what you do is that you again move out with Alt and bring it back in with Alt Shift. So that was a little jiggle you saw me do. It was like Alt Shift 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 Alt Shift 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 Shift. You just kind of do that many times like that. So I got that perfectly lined up with the road, and now I started to build the thingy, whatever the heck it was. I had this idea of using the Cleyra Arches, and I'm not sure what I just put there under the arches, but then I had this idea of just getting a building, something that kind of looks a little boxy or with a little bit of other boxinesses, and just to kind of look like some sort of boxy machinery. I'm saying boxy a lot here, aren't I? Boxy. Anyone remember that YouTuber? Yeah, it was All in Act, if anyone doesn't know. So she kind of had a minor resurgence, I think, a few years ago. So there's the boxes, and then I trying to add things that just kind of look technical or industrial or something. So like I think I added something that looks like tanks. Oh, there's this little dome here, and I'm gonna want to connect that dome somewhere. Oh, I found this thing which I thought looked awesome. Figured it would be the posts for at least 2 of those ends. And then this is, I think, a Hong Kong pedestrian walkway. And I had the idea of just kind of using this to box up some of the parts, turn it upside down because it has these pegs, which I guess are the supports. So if you turn it upside down and I bring the other one up right side up, then hey, you got like a little sandwich perfectly made there already. I can't even see what those are, I'm not really sure, but it might be solar panels, I'm not sure, but nice idea, definitely is solar panels, and helps give a little more variety to this area. Now I'm starting to find, I was looking for, oh yeah, I found this kind of railing. I'm like, this would be great to use as a connection. Not sure if it'll fool anyone into looking like pipes, but even if not, it doesn't really matter, you know, like it could be just, the pipes could be inside, it could be for electricity, you know. So again, a lot of this, I have no idea what I'm actually building. I have no sort of story or fluff, as we call it, to explain what this is. It's just kind of mucking around, and well, mucking around is not the right word here, just kind of messing around. And I added these little, I think these are street lights. I had this idea of a little arcing kind of lighted up thing. So I put these little flashing lights here, which I'm going to slow down in just a little bit. Oh, I guess a little bit after. You will see this at normal speed, so we can see how everything blinks and lights up in the shadow. Adding a few more lights there. They were already there, actually, I think. I think I just moved them because I'm adding these planters, add some green. And now this is a roof network. But this is not the first time that I'll be using the roof network as actually a floor network. Because I kind of think they look like these wooden boards. And even if they're not wood, it's just... they're pretty nice, actually. So I decided to use them here as kind of a surface. And just kind of border that with this retaining wall. I mean, it was a concrete retaining wall. Skipped a little bit here because I just added the other side, but I also expanded the floor. Okay, here we go. Now here we are in shadow and normal speed. That's what this looks like. So pretty happy with that. Very happy with that. And I also like that being in shadow is kind of like not obvious. It's just this hidden little gem, maybe, little Easter egg. Found an issue here. Oh yeah, the clipping. So I decided to use, I'm not sure if it's a decal or something, but it uses the same cliff texture. So perfect fill-in for that. And now there is of course also clipping under this. And by the way, if anyone's not sure or didn't see the previous video, there's a lot of clipping here because of the bridge I have between the 2 vehicle elevators. Because I'm pretty sure that road only works in ground mode. So technically the terrain is actually being pulled all the way up toward that bridge. But because we have roads under here, they're preventing that terrain from being from being seen. But you can still see the cut in the terrain under these roads. Now this one obviously was a little ugly, so I'm using more of these decals, and this one fits my pavement theme. Pretty simple fix, just to kind of clean that up, and there we go, all nice and smooth. And that concludes this episode of New Waylie. Tune in next video where we start working on the elevated plaza, which is going to be in the area between the vehicle elevators and this oval roads that we see there. So, thanks for watching, and wherever you may be, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Media pause. Thank you. Ugh.